All right, so I've just hit the record button, and once again, a few more people have joined. So I'd like to welcome you all to today's presentation. And what we're going to do in today's presentation, and it's mainly going to be an opportunity for me to talk with you about some things that we are doing from an enterprise perspective that is helping us to put the product out in front of customers. And then once you have engagement with the customer, being able to talk to the customer about enterprise and helping them to make a decision to acquire the solution. So, that's really our focus today, is that whole topic of how to sell enterprise. So hopefully most of you who are on today's session are already aware of enterprise and what the solution does. And if you are aware of enterprise and what the solution does, then you will know that what enterprise is really designed to do. It's designed to address a market need specifically for organizations who have made the decision to run their businesses on SAP Business One. And what they're looking for is a way to enable more people inside their organization to have access to the functionality that's in SAP Business One, and be able to give them access to that functionality through an easier to use web-based interface and an easier to use mobile interface that's available online and offline, importantly. So cast your mind back if you had the opportunity to go to the SMB Innovation Summits with SAP and the Business One and Business by Design teams that were recently held. There was one in Macau, one in Berlin, and one in Fort Lauderdale. You'll know that one of the key issues that SAP have been focusing on as they're thinking about the product future for SAP Business One is this concept of microservice enabling the product. And that's really breaking SAP Business One down into a series of smaller consumable components. And they're calling those microservices. And that's what we've done with enterprise. So, when you're looking at enterprise, for example, and you're looking at the apps that we have available in the enterprise solution, and you can see on our website, you can see those different apps that we have as they scroll across the little icons that are available for each of them. What we've already done with enterprise is we have broken SAP Business One up into a series of microservice components. So again, when you're thinking about your typical use case scenario for SAP Business One, you have a number of different use cases. You have a number of different business processes that you utilize SAP Business One to help you manage and help you automate. What we've done is we've broken up a couple of those key business processes and we've built these apps around them. So you're looking at your sales app, which helps you to mobilize the sales process for customers. So if they have sales reps who are out on the road who need to be placing orders on the road, they can do that with the mobile device, be it either Android or iOS. If you've got delivery drivers and you've got delivery drivers out on the road and they are making deliveries either from van stock or by going into a warehouse and collecting their inventory prior to going out on the delivery run, then Enterprise is giving them a delivery app that allows them to manage the delivery process, know when they have to be at a certain place to make the delivery, know who they have to see, get all that delivery information, and then make the delivery of the goods and then get a proof of delivery signed on the mobile device, and then being able to track and manage that back into SAP Business One, because of course, that mobile device, when the customer signs the proof of delivery, that then gets attached as an attachment back into SAP Business One. Then you've also got these additional micro service enabled components of the solution, such as expense entry. So think about that scenario where most organizations, in some way, shape, or form, have to give their people a way, an easy way to be able to manage expenses. Now, with more and more people working offsite, more and more people, working from home or being on the road, that process of being able to manage and lodge and approve expenses from a mobile device has become even more important. So that's another key area. And then the other area which we're getting a lot of feedback from that customers really like about Enterpryze is the procurement or the purchasing side, giving people inside the organization the ability to go in and create purchase orders from either a mobile device or from the web app, and being able to do that quickly and effectively with a very, very simple user interface. So, this is really what Enterpryze is all about. So then when you're talking about how do you go out and sell a solution like this, fundamentally, first thing you have to do is you have to understand what those use case scenarios are that we've talked about, and hopefully you do. The second scenario is you really have to understand where your customer is in their cycle. When you went out and you started talking with them, and I'm going to break this up into two sections. Let's talk about your existing customers first, and then let's talk about new customers. When you went out to your existing customers and you started having that conversation about ERP, you'll recall that the whole promise of ERP was to enable everybody so that everybody could have access to this functionality. Well, again, with Enterpryze, what we're doing is we're truly making that a reality, because when you went out there and you talked to them and they said, yeah, well, look, I've got 30 people in my organization and I'd love to give 20 of them or all 30 of them access to the ERP system. And then you put together the pricing for them, and they realized very, very quickly that they probably couldn't afford to give everybody that functionality. And there were some people in the organization. I've been talking with an organization just yesterday where they really liked the functionality that was in Business One, but there were people inside the organization who they felt couldn't cope with the user interface, didn't need that degree of flexibility. You could even call it complexity if you like, that degree of complexity that's in the Business One user interface. They wanted a simpler way of doing things. So when you're looking into your customer base and you're trying to decide who should I sell or who should I approach to talk to about Enterpryze, then those are the kinds of scenarios that you're looking for. People who, they really wanted to enable everybody in the organization but couldn't afford it, or they've got a challenge with different people in the organization finding SAP Business One's native user interface too complex or too hard to manage. Now, the next ones, of course, are those people that are in the wholesale and distribution space where, they've got delivery drivers on the road, where they've got mobile salespeople. These are the use cases where Enterpryze truly shines. Now, remember, and I know we've got people on today's call from India, we've got people on today's call from Australia, from all over the Asia Pacific region. The thing to bear in mind is that with Enterpryze, the pricing model basically is $9.95 US per user per month. So it is a very low cost solution. Now, don't forget, we do have localized pricing in every country in which the solution is available. Okay, so we have a Singapore dollar price, we have a Indian rupee price, we have an Australian dollar price, New Zealand dollar price, and so on and so forth. So again, feel free to reach out to me if you've got questions about what that local pricing is. But it's really about helping those organizations get access to a solution that is incredibly cost effective and is incredibly easy to use. So then, how do you get them engaged? Well, what's been working for us inside Enterpryze, and as we've been working with partners who are out there engaging in sales opportunities today, by far and away the most compelling story that you have to tell is around the whole concept of simplicity. Now think about it. And by the way, if you're wondering, am I going to start giving you a death by PowerPoint? No, I'm not. This is really an opportunity for me to do some knowledge sharing. So I hope you don't mind that we don't have death by PowerPoint. If you prefer that I have slides when I do these kinds of presentations, then please feel free to drop me a note after the webinar, and I'll be more than happy to make sure next time I give you some PowerPoints. But effectively, if you think about the messaging behind Enterpryze, it's really about that simplified online mobile access. So as we're engaging with people, as we're engaging with customers, and as partners are engaging with their customers, it's that whole message of simplicity that is key. Now, some of you may know me from my days when I was part of SAP, and I used to spend a lot of my time out there doing sales training partners how to sell SAP Business One, doing generic sales training, pre-sales training, and so on. And we used to talk a lot about making sure that you understand the customer's business requirements, and that you never really lead in with a demo. Well, here is the thing. With Enterpryze, it's a little bit different. Okay. With Enterpryze, once you've identified what the business need is, the best way to engage a customer, particularly a customer that's already using SAP Business One, is to dive straight into a demonstration. Now, in order for you to do a demonstration effectively, you really should have your demo environment hooked in with an Enterpryze tenant. So you will recall that in Enterpryze, you can go here and you can log in. You go to enterpryze.com, you can choose the login option, and that will actually bring you into Enterpryze itself. And you'll recall that you can come in here and you can sign in with our demo1 at enterpryze.com username. And remember that demo password, okay, is demo1 user. So demo1 and the word user. Okay, so when I pick that demo1 at enterpryze.com user and I sign in, then what it's doing is it's allowing me to have access to that generic user. Now, the challenge with this is if you are relying on this particular account to do your demos, the problem is you can't actually show what's going on with SAP Business One. All right. So what I normally do is, of course, I have my own Enterpryze environment set up, and all I need to do to get to that Enterpryze environment is I'll just quickly log out, and I'm just going to log back in with my other demo account, which is Richard at oeccomputer.com. Now you'll notice I've actually tried to match it through to the company name that we have set up inside SAP Business One in my demo data. Now at the moment you'll see I've got 3 companies that I've got access to. I've got a US demo database, an Australian demo database, and a UK demo database. Now, these are all running on HANA. And the reason why I do this is because I can now go ahead and I can do my demo here. But what I'm also able to do is I am able to, and I'm just going to bring it across onto this screen, I am then able to also at the same time, and let me just make sure I'm showing it. I'll show my entire screen, 1 second. So my main screen, there we go. So what I'll do is I'll make sure I have access to my SAP Business One full client so I can show the entire end-to-end process. So for example, my HANA server, I'm just going to quickly log on now. I've got access to it with the web browser. So I can grab that and let me just pop that in there. So I'm able to, in the demo process, is I can show them not only the Enterpryze component, but I'm also able to quickly jump across and I can go in, for example, and I'll log into my US company. Just have to remember the password, and hopefully I'll get this right. Oh, that's the wrong one. Sorry. My apologies for that. Let me just pop that in. Okay, that's better. So now I'm able to show them the entire end-to-end process, okay, and be able to do that comparison between the Enterprise screens and the SAP Business One screens. So I always like to try and use Firefox whenever I am demonstrating the Business One web client, the standard Business One web client, because I've tended to find that it is much more compatible with the Business One web client. So, you have all that capability there. So you have your sales order screen. Let's just close that down. And so you've got your sales order screen. So now you're able to do that comparison and show the customer the difference between using the Enterprise sales order screen, of course, which looks like this. When I go in here and I create a new sales order, very simple, very straightforward, much more pleasant user interface and a much simpler user interface, comparing that user interface to the user interface shown here. They're as different as we say in Australia, as different as chalk and cheese. Okay, so that's the first thing that I always like to do. And that's so that way you're actually focusing on and providing additional examples of that simplicity. Okay. The second thing that you then want to be able to do is make sure you can take them through that entire process. So, for example, I will take a customer through an example of a sales order. So in this case, I've got Earthshaker Corporation. I'm selling to Bob McKensley. I've got my salesperson details in there. I've got my posting date and my due date. I go in now and I start creating my sales order. Now, you should always point out the fact that even though Enterprise is a web-based application and it's cloud-based, it's relying on the way that your SAP Business One solution is set up. And that's a classic example of it. Always make sure that you are pointing out, anytime you go in here and you change, for example, the quantity, you see you get that checking in SAP. Why are you getting that? Well, again, because Enterprise is using all of the pricing engines inside SAP Business One. So then I go in here and I will hit my save button. I'll send my email out to the customer confirming the sales order. And then I have my sales order go through, and I can then go into SAP Business One and show them that that sales order has committed. So there you see it. My tax has been calculated. All of that has occurred. So then I can quickly go back in to my SAP Business One environment in Firefox. Let's just bring that back up. And of course, I can now take them straight to that same order. There it is, my Earthshaker Corporation order for Bob McKensley. Then I have my two packages, my two JB Office Print 1420s. And there is my pricing, and my tax has been calculated correctly, and everything is good. It's allocated to the right salesperson. So you're showing them that end-to-end business process. Now, of course, then the next thing in that business process is to then take it into the delivery process and then take them through and show them the process of scheduling that delivery. So there it is. There's our order number 1180. And then being able to go in and look at the scheduler, being able to go in and see all of your sales orders, and there's that sales order 1180, and being able to go in and specify your two delivery drivers that you have available, and being able to take that sales order and drop it and allocate it directly to one of the delivery drivers. So I simply drag and drop that sales order over to the delivery driver, and it's now been scheduled against that delivery driver. Now, if you're wondering why is it showing up against Wojciech and Richard, because we are both linked to the general warehouse. All right. So normally that then is telling you, you know what, either one of these delivery drivers can go and schedule, can go and make that delivery for me because they're going to pick it up from the general warehouse and they're going to deliver it out to the customer. But we also have the concept of a virtual warehouse that then enables you, even though both these delivery drivers are operating out of the same warehouse, we can set them up as what we call virtual warehouses, which then allows you to be able to track and manage all of their deliveries separately without having to go through the process of configuring a separate warehouse for each van. Now, if those delivery drivers are making deliveries from their van stock, then you would probably want to go and configure a warehouse for each of their vans because you'll know that's what you do with normal SAP Business One. If you've got van stock delivery drivers out on the road with their vans, you'll either configure a separate warehouse for them. I have seen some people go ahead and configure the delivery vans as a specific bin. Okay, now with SAP Business One supporting bin locations, but the only issue there is you can then sometimes get into some challenges where you're trying to put the same product and split it across multiple bins. All right, and it can get a little bit more complex than what some organizations want. But anyway, the point behind this is you're showing them the entire end-to-end process. All right, and the same scenario you would go through. We were just talking about an existing customer who is already using SAP Business One, showing them that simplicity. But then when you're out and you're engaging with a new customer who haven't purchased SAP Business One yet, and so you're trying to show them why they should purchase SAP Business One. So you are going to focus on that core functionality. The best way that we have found to help them understand this is to really pitch Enterpryze as an additional solution. So what do I mean by that? Not as an add-on, but you talk to them about the fact that inside their organization, they're going to have certain users who are going to want to have access to that full, rich SAP Business One functionality. But then there are going to be other users out there who don't need the full client, who all they need is access to this sales functionality, access to the mobile apps, access to the ability to put through expenses. So you're really positioning it as part of a total solution, but you're delivering that simplified experience with Enterpryze and that mobile experience with Enterpryze. Matter of fact, I just had a call from a potential customer this morning here in Australia. And they are actually using SAP Business One already. And we all know that we have the web client for Business One, and we know that Business One has some mobile apps, but unfortunately, they're not as easy to use or as robust or as well designed as they could be. So this particular customer was not particularly complimentary about those solutions, and that's why she was looking for Enterpryze to help her give her mobile people access to sales, service, and expense functionality. Because that standard SAP Business One, those standard SAP Business One components just didn't meet that requirement. So really, when you're pitching to a new customer, it's really about showing them that you've got one user interface for one particular kind of user, if you like, your power users, and then you've got your SAP, your Enterpryze for those users who have a more simplified requirement, or who have a mobile requirement, or would prefer to work with that web-based user interface that's nice and simple. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Now, I want to talk to you then about once you're engaged in a sales cycle. We've talked about how do you engage the customer. The other thing that I would encourage you to do, which we've seen is working very, very well, connect. And this, of course, really only works for you with an existing customer. But connect your existing customer's database to Enterpryze. What do I mean? We will provision for you an enterprise environment. Matter of fact, I'm doing this for a partner this week in Nicaragua. What they are going to do is they're going out and they're talking to a customer that's already using SAP Business One, needs to mobilize their workforce. What they're going to do is we're deploying we're deploying an enterprise tenant for them, and we're going to hook that up into their customers' data. So effectively, we're going to do exactly what we would normally do in a live environment. So hook up the customer's data to Enterprise and do the demonstration with their data. Now, remember, the good thing about Enterprise, if you've watched the videos or you've been involved in any of those connection processes, maybe you worked with me to connect your existing Business One demo environment, you'll know it's very, very simple. And you'll also know that it does not make significant changes to the customer's data. All right, so you can switch it on, do the demonstration, switch it off, and there's absolutely no impact on their SAP Business One solution. So again, that's another thing that we would encourage you to do when you're going out there and you're demonstrating SAP Business One to your customers. Now, that's all great when you've already got a customer that you're talking to and you're engaged in a sales cycle. How do you get engaged in sales cycles? Well, the good news is what we've done is our marketing team have put together a number of end-to-end marketing campaigns that we have built the assets, the email pieces, brochures, and for want of a better term, graphic marketing assets that you can then use to go to market and promote the solution to your customers. Now, you might be using HubSpot as your marketing engine. You might be using MailChimp. Maybe as a salesperson, you're just using Outlook and you have your list of customers and you want to write to them. Well, the good news is that all of these documents, all of these campaigns are available in a very simple way to consume, so you can start utilizing them and generating your own email campaigns using a very, very simple Outlook mail client as well. So we have a number of these different campaigns available right now. There are 4 campaigns and they're all available for you on Dropbox. So what we can do is if you would like to have access to those campaigns, we can make those available for you via Dropbox. And what you'll see over the next week is I will be delivering a number of on-demand videos that you can go and watch, which will guide you through the process of executing those marketing campaigns. All right, so if it's something you're interested in, drop me an email. Again, my email address is rduffy@enterpryze.com. And always remember, when you're using Enterprise, remember the spelling ENTERPRYZE, enterprise.com. And I will be more than happy to share that Dropbox, that set of Dropbox folders with you, because there are a couple of them. You'll see here, I've actually used Dropbox for a lot of different things, but you'll see here in our partner marketing collateral Dropbox folder, we have all of the enterprise branding assets. So all the different tiles and icons and graphical images and logos that you have access to, so you can populate those into your website. But then we also have these customer engagement campaigns. So you'll see we have a number of these campaigns which have the banner images that go with them. And then we have these Outlook templates. So connecting your whole team to SAP, getting started with Enterprise, growing your business with Enterprise, and then focusing on that simple online mobile message. So you can take all of those and you can utilize those yourself. Then, of course, we have a number of these social media images so that if you want to, you can go ahead and you can start using these in your social media campaigns, using them in your Twitter feeds as you're posting onto Twitter. If you have your own Facebook page as a partner organization, utilizing those on your Facebook page, and then directing people back to your to your campaign assets or your website assets, right? So we have a number of those different components available. Then there are also the enterprise apps. We have posters that are available for each of our mobile apps, and then of course we have the brochures that if you joined us at the SMB Innovation Summits, and you came and visited us at our store or at our stand rather, you probably would have gotten your hands on some of these brochures. Now, I've already gone through the process of actually tailoring these for some partners, tailoring for partners in Thailand, tailoring them for partners in Australia, where we adjusted, put in the local pricing in the local currency, and then when we get down to the end of the brochure, of course, on the last page, we will go in and we will put in your partner contact details here on that brochure. All right. One other thing that there's also available for you, I'm not sure if you've seen it yet, but we have a very short explainer video which explains what Enterpryze is all about. We will also take that video and we will put your company logo and your contact details at the start and the end of that video. So you can utilize that video on your YouTube channel, on your website, to encourage customers to reach out to you. It gives them a quick 60-second overview of what Enterpryze is. And then, as I said, we put in your 1300 number, or if you have a toll-free number of some kind, or a main number for them to call, or an email address. We'll put that on that video for you, and then you can utilize that yourself. So that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover off on today. Again, if you have questions about how you can sell Enterpryze effectively, please reach out to me. My email address, again, is rduffy@enterpryze.com. And of course, don't forget, you can always visit our website at www.enterpryze.com. And on the Enterpryze website, you'll find a whole range of assets that you can utilize. A whole range of videos are available here. So if you go across here to the solutions area, you'll see we've got our Enterpryze Explained videos, as well as a series of how-to videos that will help you be able to pitch Enterpryze to your customers. And then, of course, down the bottom here, we also have our online chat. So you can feel free to contact us with any questions that you have. And of course, when our team is online and available for chat, you can engage us in a live chat as well. So with that, I'd like to wrap up today's session. Thank you for coming along and joining. We are going to be running regular webinars for you as partners, where we're going to share a whole range of different topics. This is really the first one of these, just getting started on the subject of selling Enterpryze. We'll be drilling down into very specific areas. I'm a big fan of utilizing video and making that video available to you on demand, because I do know it can be challenging sometimes to take time out of your day when these events are scheduled. But we'll always be making these events available for you via recordings. So again, even if you want to share the recording with other people in your organization who weren't able to make it along, we'll always make those available for you. So with that, thank you for coming along. Thank you for your interest in Enterpryze, and thank you for being an Enterpryze partner. We are here to help you. We look forward to doing just that and helping you help your customers get simplified online mobile access to SAP Business One with Enterpryze. Thanks very much.